Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Hope you're settled in wherever you might be listening from today. Maybe enjoying a quiet morning over in Cookeville, or perhaps getting ready for the evening down in Livingston.
Or maybe you just gathered around the kitchen table somewhere like Hillam. Welcome.
Absolutely. Today, we're digging into something pretty ancient and, well, for a lot of folks, quite mysterious. The Rosicrucian doctrine.
That's right. We're drawing heavily from the work of Magus Incognito, who many know as William Walker Atkinson. And our goal here really is to unpack some of these complex historical philosophical ideas.
Yeah, pull out those, surprising bits of knowledge, those insights into cosmic principles, maybe even the nature of existence itself.
Exactly. We want this to be a way for you to get informed without feeling like you're wading through centuries of dense text.
Right. We've got a study guide, excerpts from the core texts. It's packed with fascinating history, legends, and these core ideas that have, well, really influenced thought for a long, long time. So let's get started, shall we? Uncover some hidden wisdom.
Let's do it. Maybe the first thing is, who are the Rosicrucians? Or maybe who aren't they?
Good point, because the sources are pretty clear, aren't they? The true Rosicrucians, they weren't some public club you could just, pay dues to join.
Not at all. Described more like a loosely knit group. People drawn together by a shared interest in these occult, esoteric studies, all united by some fundamental principles.
So no sign-up sheet down at the local meeting hall then. It's pretty fascinating how pervasive their influence was supposed to be, though. Quietly working away.
Mm-hmm. Members in all walks of life, all countries, never really announcing themselves, but exerting influence in the direction of good. In science, business, maybe even within Masonic circles.
And getting in wasn't easy, I gather.
No, quite strict. You needed a request and then recommendations from 3 established proficient members, even higher adepts. It was a serious undertaking, very private.
Okay, so when did the wider world start hearing about these brothers of the Rosy Cross? When did the rumors really start swirling?
Well, the sources point to the early 17th century, around 1610 or so. That's when you see this spark of widespread interest.
Which, predictably, probably ruffled some feathers.
Oh, absolutely. Attacks came from ecclesiastical authorities, which then prompted defenses from occultists. And, lots of spurious orders popped up trying to ride the wave of mystery.
But the original group maintained its connection to this older wisdom.
That's the claim, a real connection, with some core teachings apparently even finding their way into the higher degrees of Masonry.
And then there's that figure, Christian Rosenkreuz, the German nobleman, the monk, the traveler, establishing the Brotherhood way back around 1425.
Right, that's the legend. But what's really interesting is how the Rosicrucians themselves apparently view it not as literal history, but as a kind of cleverly disguised recital of the real facts, something that needs interpretation.
Like a parable, almost, a key hidden in a story.
Precisely. And the secret doctrine itself, it's this body of esoteric teaching, occult lore, passed mainly, master to student. For ages, it wasn't really written down or made public, not until maybe the early 20th century, around 1918, give or take.
And they had clever ways of hiding it in plain sight, using alchemy and astrology language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So someone just reading it might see one thing, but an initiated person would grasp a totally different, deeper meaning. Terms like sulfur, mercury, the philosopher's stone. They weren't just about chemistry labs.
They're symbols, keys to something else.
Symbolic keys, yeah. And these teachings, they're believed to have been pieced together over time by old occult masters from fragments of even older knowledge. Some sources even mention ancient Atlantis.
Atlantis, okay, that always gets the imagination going. So these weren't just from one corner of the world.
Oh, far from it. The fragments were supposedly gathered from all over Egypt, India, Persia, Chaldea, China, ancient Greece, even from Hebrew mystical traditions like the Kabbalah.
Wow, quite the collection.
And the common thread, it said, is distinctly Oriental, forming the basis, maybe, for great Eastern philosophies, even Greek ones like Pythagoras or Buddha, hence that old saying, look to the east, whence comes all light.
And these once hidden teachings started coming out more openly, say, after 1918, becoming part of broader esoteric movements.
Yes, integrating more into things like theosophy, discussions of Oriental philosophies. And about that alchemy, it's really crucial to understand it wasn't just about, turning lead into gold.
Right. It was mental alchemy, spiritual alchemy.
Exactly. Corresponding to the material world through that principle of correspondence, as above, so below. But the main goal wasn't physical transformation.
And the secrecy,
Yeah.
not just for show.
No, the idea was protection. Protecting the unprepared public from powerful ideas that could be misused or misunderstood. The real goal, adeptship, was about developing spiritual faculties. Any miraculous physical stuff was just a side effect, not the main point.
It really does offer a unique way of thinking about knowledge, influence,
Right.
stretching way back.
Definitely. It sets the stage for some really profound concepts about the cosmos itself.
Okay, let's dive into one of those truly mind-stretching concepts, this idea of the grand unfolding of everything, from total silence to cosmic dawn. It starts with their first aphorism, doesn't it?
It does, and it's quite profound. It goes, "The eternal parent was wrapped in the sleep of the cosmic night. Light there was not, for the flame of spirit was not yet rekindled. Time there was not. The eternal parent, causeless, indivisible, changeless, infinite, rested in unconscious, dreamless sleep. Other than the eternal parent, there was not, either real or apparent."
Wow. That paints a picture, doesn't it? This eternal parent or infinite unmanifest symbolizes infinite space, something beyond our senses, impossible to define as a thing.
Right. They use the term neti, the Sanskrit phrase, basically meaning not this, not that. It's saying the ultimate reality is beyond any concept we can pin down.
So it's not less than personality, but infinitely more.
Immeasurably above and infinitely transcends it. Like Spinoza said, to define the infinite is to deny the infinite. It's the absolute root source of everything, spirit and matter. And in that state, no time, because nothing's changing. No things, no action, no pairs of opposites.
Causeless, indivisible, changeless, infinite. And that phrase, unconscious, dreamless sleep. It doesn't mean literally asleep, does it?
No, the interpretation is more like infinite superconsciousness, a state beyond our comprehension. Manifestation starts when this eternal parent sort of begins to dream of creation and then awakens fully.
Which leads right into the second aphorism. The germ within the cosmic egg takes unto itself form. The flame is rekindled, time begins, a thing exists, action begins. The pairs of opposites spring into being, the world's soul is born and awakens into manifestation. The first rays of the new cosmic day break over the horizon.
Sounds like the universe's first sunrise.
Pretty much. This world soul, also called anima mundi, logos, demiurge, is the first manifestation of that eternal parent, symbolized by a circle with a dot inside, the germ in the cosmic egg. So this world soul, it's not the ultimate infinite reality itself.
No, it's more like the first grand idea or picture in the eternal parent's imagination. A shadow of reality, maybe? It comes and goes with these cosmic cycles of night and day.
Okay. And with its awakening, bam, time starts. The world soul itself is the first thing. Action kicks off, and all those opposites, light, dark, hot, cold, they spring into being.
Exactly. It's this incredible narrative starting from pure, unimaginable unity and then unfolding into everything we perceive, form, time, relationships.
That's definitely something to chew on. Okay, let's shift focus a bit, explore another really fundamental part of these teachings, the actual fabric of the universe. We're talking atoms, cosmic processes, and this idea of a universal androgyne and underlying unity.
Right, which brings us neatly to the third aphorism.
Yeah.
The world soul takes unto itself sex, and the universal androgyne appears.
The universal androgyne, or hermaphrodite, possessing both male and female qualities.
Exactly, and present in everything, the sources say. From the tiniest submineral particle right up to angelic beings. It's the interaction, the acting and reacting of these male and female principles that generates all creative activity, all cosmic becoming.
It's kind of amazing how some interpretations of modern science seem to almost echo this ancient idea, isn't it? Like the positive, negative charges in atoms, male, female archetypes generating energy.
It's a fascinating parallel the sources draw. Rosicrucians viewed positive energy, magnetism, electricity as masculine, and negative as feminine. Their core belief was pretty bold. The universe is bisexual, and all creation on every plane is caused by sex, and sex only. The fundamental law of attraction, they believed, follows these lines of polarity.
Okay, so from this universal principle of sex, or polarity, we get to the fourth aphorism. The one becomes many, the unity becomes diversity, the identical becomes variety, yet the many remains one, the diversity remains unity, and the variety remains identical.
It's a beautiful paradox, isn't it?
It really is. Like all the different creeks and streams here in Overton County, they all look different, but they eventually flow into the same bigger river system. It all comes back together.
That's a great analogy. The symbol they use is a small circle, world soul, inside a larger one, Infinite Unmanifest, filled with tiny points representing individual lives. It reinforces that core, essential oneness idea.
Hmm.
All being, all life, all consciousness is fundamentally one.
So life doesn't actually divide itself up.
It just reflects itself in many individual mirrors, like sunlight hitting countless raindrops. Separateness, they say, is just the working fiction of creation, necessary for the experience, but not the ultimate reality.
Which leads us nicely into involution and evolution, this two-step process.
Right. The core idea is all evolution must be preceded by involution, because logically you can never get out of a thing anything which is not already involved in it. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. So involution is the spirit folding into matter.
Kind of. The world soul enfolding into simple, basic, elemental forms, lowering its vibration, so to speak. Evolution, then, is the unfolding out of that, from simple to complex, lower to higher.
And this is a long journey.
Oh, immense. From the submineral, then emerging through minerals, then plants, animals, primitive humans, evolving humans, eventually reaching supermen, and even godlike angelic beings. But the key thread through it all life is one, the life of the world soul.
What a scope. A universe woven with these fundamental energies, male and female, with this deep unity beneath all the variety, constantly unfolding and evolving.
It's quite a picture.
Okay, we've touched on the very big picture, the creation of everything. Let's bring it a bit closer now into our own being, the soul's journey. The Rosicrucians had some really detailed ideas about this, starting with what they called the 7 planes of consciousness.
Yes, they propose that consciousness isn't just one thing, but manifests on 7 distinct but interconnected levels or planes, each one building on the one below it.
Starting right down at the elemental level.
Right, the plane of the elements. Consciousness here is super subtle, like basic likes and dislikes between particles influencing forces. Then you move up to the plane of the minerals.
Minerals having life and mind. That sounds, well, pretty out there to modern ears.
It does, but the sources offer some intriguing points. They talk about metals showing fatigue that can be relieved by rest, like they get tired, or experiments by Professor J. Chunder Bose suggesting metals respond to stimuli, almost like living tissue.
Huh, okay.
The conclusion they draw is bold. No such thing as dead matter, and ultimately all power is willpower, even down at that level.
All right. And above minerals?
The plane of the plants. Here you see more obvious life functions, nutrition, reproduction, adapting to the environment. Think of sensitive plants reacting to touch, or those carnivorous ones that actively trap insects. An instinctive, unconscious kind of mind is at work.
Makes sense. Then animals.
The plane of the animals. Everything from single cells up to complex mammals. What's fascinating here is the idea of a group mind, even within our own bodies. Think of white blood cells rushing to fight infection, working together for the whole organism.
But the key difference from humans is
they lack what the Rosicrucians call self-consciousness. An animal doesn't look in the mirror and think, I am I.
Okay, so that brings us to the plane of the human. This is where that I am kicks in. Self-awareness.
Exactly, the big leap.
Yeah.
And it's a double-edged sword, right? It allows for much greater potential, self-mastery over thoughts and emotions, but also potentially more suffering from desires and fears that animals don't experience in the same way.
And they had ideas about the conscious and subconscious mind here, too.
Yeah, seeing the subconscious as sort of feminine, receptive, and the conscious will as masculine, directive. This explained for them how suggestion and mental influence worked. Mental sex, they called it.
Interesting. Are there planes above the human?
Oh, yes. The plane of the Demi-Gods. This is seen as a realm for advanced souls, once human, who now reside there and sometimes help humanity. People on Earth might experience flashes of this cosmic consciousness, that sudden feeling of oneness, bliss, intuitive knowing.
Like moments of genius or profound spiritual insight?
Exactly. They cite figures like Socrates, Plotinus, Walt Whitman, Tennyson. Dr. Richard Maurice Buck wrote a whole book about cosmic consciousness, describing its characteristics, sudden onset, sense of immortality, intellectual illumination.
And beyond the demigods.
The highest is the plane of the gods, inhabited by beings apparently altogether too godlike for us to really describe. They're fully conscious of their identity with the infinite, seeing the universe as a sort of magnificent illusion. Only very rare glimpses of this are possible for people on Earth.
Wow. Okay, this framework of planes, this progression, it seems to lead naturally into another core Rosicrucian idea. Reincarnation.
Yes, metempsychosis. They viewed it as an ancient and universal doctrine. The idea that the individual soul takes on a new physical body after spending time on the astral plane between lives. It's seen as the spirit's way of unfolding, learning, and gradually freeing itself from the limitations of matter.
And this wasn't some fringe idea, historically speaking.
Not at all, according to the sources. Ancient Egyptians, Pythagoras, Plato, Hindu traditions, Persian Magi, Druids, even some early Christian groups like the Gnostics held similar views. Many people report that intuitive feeling, I've been here before, or meeting someone new and feeling an uncanny familiarity.
And what about child prodigies, like Mozart composing music practically as a toddler?
The Rosicrucians saw that as strong evidence. The soul doesn't necessarily remember facts from past lives, but it carries over the results, the essence, talents, tendencies, characteristics, inclinations. What you desired and worked on in past lives shapes the conditions you're drawn to in the next.
So our deep desires actually guide our rebirth.
That's the idea, leading us to circumstances where those desires can play out and hopefully be worked through.
This individual journey, then, is part of an even bigger cosmic cycle.
Absolutely. They talk about a planetary chain. Human evolution doesn't just happen on Earth, but across a linked series of 7 planets. Souls progress through these planets in great ways, called rounds, in a kind of spiral, always moving towards a higher state. Earth is currently in the 4th round.
And within these rounds, there are races, like Lemuria and Atlantis.
Exactly. Each round has 7 major root races. Lemuria was associated with the 3rd race, Atlantis with the 4th. These ancient civilizations reached great heights, but also fell, often through natural cataclysms marking transitions. Atlantis, for instance, highly advanced but corrupted by misuse of power, sank over a long period.
And the survivors passed on knowledge.
Yes, survivors of Atlantis are said to have taught the early members of our current 5th race peoples, like the ancient Egyptians, Persians, Chaldeans. These were considered old souls.
So the rise and fall of nations we see in history, it's not just random politics.
From this perspective, no. It's governed by a deeper law of progress, an irresistible destiny. Cosmic forces are at work under the surface, guiding humanity's overall evolution towards eventual, godlike perfection in future rounds.
My goodness. That's a perspective that certainly makes you look out at the familiar landscape here in Overton County, maybe towards Standing Stone, and see it all in a much grander context.
It really does put our little slice of time and space into perspective, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Okay, connecting these grand cosmic ideas to something more personal, let's talk about the aura, that sort of energy field around us.
Precisely. The psychic atmosphere. The Rosicrucians described it as a subtle, usually invisible emanation, kind of egg-shaped surrounding the body. Clairvoyants could supposedly perceive it. It's made up of physical energy and also auric vital energy.
And the really fascinating part is the colors, right? The aura isn't just clear, it has colors that mean things.
That's the teaching. Auric colors are reflections of your mental and emotional states. So, black might indicate hatred or malice. Different shades of gray could show selfishness or fear. Green could be complex, maybe diplomacy or deceit, or perhaps just a love of nature, depending on the shade.
So there are good and bad colors in a sense.
More like colors representing different kinds of thoughts and feelings. There are higher vibrations too. Ultraviolet for high spiritual development. True, pure white for an awakened spirit. Strong emotions can flash through the whole aura, temporarily bright red for anger, crimson for deep love, blue for religious feeling. Over time, your habitual thoughts shape your aura's dominant colors.
That's incredible. Can you actually use this knowledge, like intentionally work with these colors?
Yes, that's a key practical application. Just as your thoughts create colors, deliberately visualizing a color can help evoke the corresponding state. Need courage? Focus on red. Want to feel more spiritual? Visualize blue. Need mental clarity? Yellow. There's even a kind of therapeutic scale they mention.
And what about protection? Can the aura protect you?
Definitely. They teach about creating a protective aura, a mental shield against negative influences, psychic attack, malicious mental magnetism, even things they term black magic or psychic vampirism.
How do you do that?
It's actually quite simple.
Oh.
You visualize yourself completely surrounded by pure, clear white light. White is seen as the color and symbol of spirit itself. It's purely for defense, not attack, and building this is considered key to developing strong personal magnetism.
That's practical advice. Okay, this understanding of the aura, these energies, it seems to tie into a larger set of fundamental laws or principles that govern everything in their view.
Exactly. The Rosicrucian doctrine lays out 7 key cosmic principles.
Let's tick through them first.
Correspondence.
Yeah.
The big one. As above, so below. Understanding how things work on one level, say, atoms helps you understand how they work on higher levels, maybe archangels. Everything, everywhere, has substance, body, motion, energy, and consciousness.
Awareness. Okay, number 2.
Law and order, or cause and effect, basically no accidents, no chance whatsoever. Everything that happens is a link in a huge chain. It's not quite fatalism, more like determinism. Even your will has causes.
Right.
Vibration. Everything vibrates. Simple as that. All the differences between things. Just differences in their rate of vibration. Sound, heat, light. Even thoughts and emotions have their own specific vibrations. This explains things like emotional contagion or mental influence.
Makes sense. 4.
Rhythm. Everything beats time. There's a universal swing, a pendulum effect in everything: tides, seasons, economies, moods. The technique here is neutralization, rising above the swing by reaching a higher state of consciousness or consciously polarizing yourself towards the positive, finding poise and balance.
Avoid getting tossed around by the highs and lows. Okay, 5th.
Cycles. Everything
Right.
proceeds in circles. From electrons orbiting a nucleus to planets orbiting suns to the rise and fall of civilizations, even fashions. The only way off the cycle, they say, is transmutation into spirality.
Spirality.
Yeah, consciously advancing the center point of your motion through willpower, moving upward while cycling. A highest form of alchemy.
Interesting. 6th principle.
Polarity. Everything has its opposite. Hot, cold, light, dark, love, hate, male, female. But these aren't separate things. They're just two ends of the same pole. And crucially, you can transmute one into the other along that spectrum.
Like turning hate into love, potentially. And the 7th.
Sex. We touched on this. Sex is omnipresent and all-pervasive. All creation involves generation, and all generation comes from this fundamental male-female dynamic operating on all planes, including the mental plane conscious mind, influencing the subconscious.
Wow, that is a comprehensive framework. A set of tools for understanding the universe and maybe even mastering ourselves within it. From our own energy field to the biggest cosmic laws. Enough to make you pause and really look at that sunset over the hills near, say, Standing Stone State Park, and see a whole lot more going on.
It certainly offers a deep, interconnected view of reality.
Well, friends, that brings us towards the end of another deep dive. And goodness, what a vast territory we've covered. From the absolute mystery of the eternal parent before creation, through cosmic principles, planetary chains, right down to the colors of our own aura.
It really does paint a picture of a universe that's far more connected, more alive, and maybe more purposeful than we often realize. These ancient ideas, kept alive for so long, offer such a rich way to think about existence.
It definitely gives you pause, makes you wonder how much hidden wisdom is potentially all around us, maybe even right here in Overton County if we just learn how to see it. We genuinely hope this exploration has given you some things to think about, something to carry with you.
Yeah, maybe reflect a little on the rhythms in your own life, the sense of purpose, or even just the power your thoughts might have.
Consider that infinite potential they talk about, resting inside each person. And maybe the unseen forces playing out right here, day to day. What else might you discover if you started looking through this kind of lens?
It's a compelling question to ponder.
It is indeed. If you found this journey interesting, please do take a second to like this deep dive. Maybe drop us a comment with your thoughts, and definitely hit subscribe so you don't miss our future explorations. It really helps us keep these conversations going.
And as always, we close with a heartfelt prayer for everyone listening, wherever you are. May you find wisdom, may you find peace, and may you find well-being in your life.
Absolutely. To all the folks gathered round in Hillam, those driving along Highway 111, maybe heading home from work, and just everyone doing their part to make our community what it is, thank you. Thanks for lending us your ears and your curiosity. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep diving deep.